when we don't allow emotions to fully be expressed through our body, they get stuck. And they get stuck inside of our body as watered up balls of energy. And what happens then when something's not ease, it's dis-ease. And so we bring disease, imbalances, disharmony into our bodies when we don't allow ourselves to feel the emotions and let them process through our body.
Welcome to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. LaChelle Wieme, a peak performance coach and business strategist dedicated to helping you see what's possible within you, the blind spots that are holding you back, and the solutions to ensure success and fulfillment without the hustle. I use my secret sauce of metaphysics, brain science, and scripture to work with God to manifest your ideal life and business. If you're ready to create massive forward momentum in your business and bust through the blocks that drag you down, join me on the Spiral Up journey and create the clarity, confidence, and consistency to become the CEO that lives your life by design. It's time to create the sustainable impact, income, and time freedom you desire faster. Now is the time to spiral up.
Hey, Spiral Up family. I am LaChelle Wieme, your host of the Spiral Up podcast, and I am really excited today to just be sitting here with you, to having a very real and raw conversation. And if you guys have been listening to the show recently, you know that we've taken a really fun, cool shift here in this season, interviewing people who are really demonstrating what embodiment means. It's this beautiful acknowledgement, right? That there's a difference between having knowledge and really knowing and using and embodying things that we're taught. And I don't want any of this to ever feel like it's just stuff that I've read in a book and I just like regurgitate it back at you. Like I really do want you guys to understand that I'm walking alongside of you and that some days are harder for me. And I wanted you to walk alongside of me today when I'm experiencing one of those days. You see, a couple of weeks ago on the show, I shared with you guys that I had been having some trouble scheduling a dermatology appointment, and I had finally gotten it scheduled, and I was so stinking excited. And today I had that exam, and I want to just tell you a little bit about the day and how it's gone and how I've had to use the tools that I talk about here on the show, because this is real life, friends. Like, I'm not just somebody that you maybe listen to on a show or watch on a YouTube channel or see on a social media post. Like, I want you to feel like you're sitting across from me, like we're having a coffee, we're having a conversation, and that I get you, right? Because I am a normal, regular person like you too. And then while we all get to celebrate our successes, we also have days that are more challenging. And today is one of them. And I just wanted to kind of take you on a real life, real time journey with me on how I am utilizing this stinking stuff that I'm teaching you. So I'm going to back up a little bit and just tell you about my journey and the dermatology appointment that I mentioned. So 16 years ago already, I was at home. It was my day off. It was about 9 o'clock in the morning. And I got a phone call from my dermatologist that had given me some news that really shook me to my core. You see, a few weeks earlier, I had gone to the dermatologist because I had a mole on my back that I thought looked a little bit wonky, right? And as a nurse, I understand the thing you look for, and I'm like, the borders are irregular. Like, I should probably have somebody take a look at this. So I went in, and he took a biopsy of that, which was great. And as he was standing, you guys, on the opposite side of the exam room, he's like, LaChelle, the one that's next to it looks normal up front, but from far away, it looks irregular a little bit. And there's just something in my gut that is telling me that we should biopsy that one too. And I'm so grateful to this day for Dr. Wetter and that gut feeling that he listened to, and that how God led him to this place, because he biopsied it. And a couple weeks later, I got that 9 o'clock a.m. phone call that biopsy came back positive for melanoma. And here I am, like this young woman in my 20s, right? I have a 1-year-old that is running around the living room playing. And gosh, I looked at him and I'm like trying not to cry right now. Like, I remember looking at him and realizing like how hard it was for us to get pregnant. And here he was, this beautiful, vibrant baby, and I didn't want anything to happen to me. You see, in medicine, we hear skin cancer and we think of, the things that our grandpas get taken off their nose because they've been on the sun too long. And those are definitely things that can scare us. And then there's melanoma, and melanoma is the deadly skin cancer. And as somebody who had been working in general surgery and taking care of people who had metastatic melanoma that were dying, I knew the seriousness of this diagnosis. And it it shook me. It shook me. And it created in me this appreciation for life and this respect for the things that I have to do to make sure that I take care of it. So I remember going into a overprotective coping mechanism where I felt like I was scared to go out in the sun. And you guys, I love the sun so much. Like just sunshine and being in a bright space really helps me, especially living in Minnesota. And when it's cloudy for days, like that's really hard on me. And so the sun is such an important part of my mental health. But I was terrified. I was terrified to go out in the sun. I slapped on as much sunscreen as I possibly could. And I allowed fear for a long time to dictate how I lived. And I was able to slowly get over that. But and knowing and releasing and allowing the surrender to God, and knowing that I was going to do what I could and release the rest to him. Right. So I'm very good about my sunscreen. I still enjoy the beaches. If you follow me, you know that I love myself some travel. Right. But I have always been really good about my skin checks. And as I explained in the episode a couple weeks ago, that I was having some issues with the scheduling of them because they introduced some new technology, some 3D skin mapping, which is amazing. And they can use AI basically to help to determine whether or not something looks suspicious based on the previous scans. Really cool. But because of that addition to that technology, there were some complications in the way that those appointments were scheduled. And I was having a heck of a time with the automated system. And even when I called in, like it was just weird. It was weird. And the only reason I bring that up is because today all of those thoughts came flooding back. You see, I went in today for my appointment and I had my skin mapping, and the doctor came in the room and he's like, "Hey, LaChelle, the mole in your toe has changed." And the thing is, guys, is that mole was not there a couple years ago. My doctors were aware of it. That had come out of nowhere. And he's like, "It's bigger and I want to biopsy it. And there's 2 more that I want to take pictures of and follow more closely." And I went down this like road again, right? Where fear really got the best of me for a hot minute today. And I think that part of it is that I say foolishly, but that's not the right word, because it's ironic, I guess. Um, so I'm just going to say it. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but I really do enjoy having just like some noise on in the background while I'm working. And so I have been having this series on in the background while I work from Netflix. And in this series, the woman has melanoma and it's terminal and it's a comedy. And she's just like living her best life. And she's like, "I'm not going to hold back anymore. I'm not going to people please anymore." It's like all the things that happen when we realize our mortality, right? And it was like this really fun, um, upbeat show. And I don't know, I had it on the background, and watched it. And ironically enough, right? And we all know everything happens perfectly perfect, but ironically enough, this series ended yesterday, and I don't want to ruin it for anybody, guys. So if you go back and watch it, like it's still really great, great show. But the series ended yesterday, and it ended with her dying. And I think that yesterday kind of hit me a little bit. With like, holy shit, like that's actually could happen. And I know of several people several meaning 3, like more than 1, more than 2, 3 people in my personal life that had melanoma that clean for a really long time, and then all of a sudden it came back. And I've always just decided, right, that that's not going to be my story, and that we get to be creators, right? That I am not only the actor, but I am the observer of the movie, and I'm the projector of the movie. So in metaphysics and spirituality, I get to remember that I get to co-create with God. But I also get to acknowledge, right, that this is a situation. And anyway, so she passes away, and that was hard enough yesterday. And then going in today and having this, like, that heaviness, and then I haven't had a biopsy, you guys, for like years and years and years. So then it was like, okay, well, I haven't been in for a couple years, so this could be really serious, right? And then to add to that, I was at the doctor with my son because he's 16, and we're thinking that he might have some exercise induced asthma, and so the doctor wanted him to have some pulmonary function testing, and so we scheduled it at the exact same time. There's a lot of construction going on, and then it's just complicated to drive, so I wanted him to come with me, and he had a test, and so he decided that he was going to follow me, and he was going to drive into the ramp and follow me with the construction and stuff. So here he is, like, this my big boy, right? Like, he's 16, almost 17, and he gets in the car, and we go to the clinic, and I get him checked in, but here he's doing it all on his own. And that's what we want as parents, right? We want our kids to become responsible adults, and that's part of me being a proud mom, is getting to see him and walk alongside of him when he doesn't need me anymore, right? And so proud of him. Like, he went to the appointment by himself while I went to mine. He was able to get himself back to the car himself. And this is a really big campus. Like, if you've ever been to the Mayo Clinic, like, it's very massive. And with construction and everything, like, he did it all himself. He was able to get him back to school himself, and all the things. And I was just so proud of him. And then in the show, she also had a 16-year-old son who did some really remarkable things during her last days to show her that he was going to be okay. So here I am, like, having these stupid flashbacks of this show and having to face this reality, right? Like, not giving energy to it, and not allowing myself to go down this downward spiral of all the what ifs, but just to be allowing myself to sit in that for a moment. And that's really where I want to bring in this first, like, embodiment lesson that I had to do. So I get to my car, right? And I just got done talking to my son. I'm like, okay, good. I'm glad you made it to school. That's awesome. I'm so proud of him. And I just wanted to cry. I wanted to cry because I was scared. I wanted to cry because I was sad. I wanted to cry because I was proud of him. I wanted to cry because I was so happy that he's such a great kid. Like, there's just lots of emotions, right? And I think the first thing that many of us do when we're in the personal development space, and we have done a lot of mindset work, is we want to try to stop those thoughts, right? And we want to just shift our thoughts, because our thoughts create our feelings, and our feelings create our actions, and our actions create our results. And so we tell ourselves, like, I'm just going to think of it differently and go on with our day. And I think that if that's something that I've really learned this last couple of years, is that the body is so freaking powerful, and that we need to honor it. And inside of my program, inside of the Spiral Up coaching programs, I actually have both the mindset of the things that I teach, but we use spirituality, and we use somatic, so body healing, as part of it. So mind, body, spirit, in order to have a full encompass experience to get people unstuck and healed at their roots, so they can be massively successful and manifest life of their dreams, right? But the somatic part is so powerful in there. And so I needed to allow myself to feel what I was feeling. And I think that many of us are scared to allow ourselves to go into those feelings because we're afraid we're not going to get back out. And my all or nothing brain could very well do that, right? I'm either all in and balls to the walls, or I don't want to do anything. And I have to navigate that, on a regular basis. And so here I am in the parking ramp, going down, getting to the point where I need to pay, and I'm holding it in, and I get through the pay clerk, and I start crying, and I let myself cry. And the thing is, guys, is that the important part of somatics that I think has been a game changer for me is that we don't have to stay there But the secret to not staying there is not energizing the emotion further with the whys and the becauses. All right. So what do I mean by that? If I were to start crying and as I'm crying, I'm like, I'm crying, I'm sad because I'm scared. And I'm scared because I don't want to lose my family and all the things. Like we could just like because I'm sad because and this is why, what all the things. And so all it does is it re-energizes that space. What we need to do is be able to allow the emotions to work and flow through our bodies, because when we don't allow emotions to fully be expressed through our body, they get stuck, and they get stuck inside of our body, inside of our subconscious, as watered up balls of energy. And what happens then is that we have an imbalance in the flow of energy throughout our body. And whenever we are not experiencing ease of functionality, ease of harmony, ease of flow inside of our body, guess what happens? When something's not ease, it's dis-ease. And so we bring disease, imbalances, disharmony into our bodies when we don't allow ourselves to feel the emotions and let them process through our body. But how do we do that? Right? How do we do that? I've heard Mel Robbins say that she sets a timer for like 90 seconds that allows herself to feel that for a full 90 seconds. That's a great technique if you feel like that could help you. One of the things that I've been doing though is just I name my emotion as an observer of my life and allow myself to acknowledge the emotion, right? So I'm like, I'm acknowledging that I'm scared. I'm crying right now because I'm scared. So then I ask myself, okay, I've named the emotion. Then I ask myself, what does scared feel like? Notice how I didn't say why I'm scared or all the becauses, but I just asked myself, well, I am scared. What does scared feel like? And I allowed myself to fully feel that scared emotion. And guess what? It only lasted like 30 seconds and then it was done. And then I could felt this overwhelming calm and harmony through my body. It was like the most beautiful peace that surpasses understanding, right? And then another thought popped into my head, and it was sadness. And I started to cry again, and it's like, okay, what do I feel? I feel sadness. Well, what does sadness feel like? Not the sadness associated with this particular situation, but what does sadness feel like? And I allowed myself to feel sad, and that lasted about 4 minutes. And I let myself cry. I let myself express those emotions. And then it literally just like gone. And I was back to that neutral peace again. And then I'm like, I'm like, okay, I could feel the urge to cry again. And I'm like, okay, well, what emotion is this? And it was joy. What does joy feel like? And joy allowed me to just smile and appreciate the sunshine and could bask in that feeling, right? And so I think that too many times we don't allow ourselves to feel the emotions. We're afraid we're going to get stuck there. But I think the reason we get stuck is because we energize it with the becauses and the whys. And so if you hear anything out of today's episode, it's that allowing yourself to feel those emotions by just naming it and then asking yourself, what does that feel like? It's going to be a game changer for you. And it was for me. So I didn't have those emotions stuck in my body. I allowed myself to just process them, work through them, and then I can move on, right? A couple of other things that have really helped me today is I had a call with my assistant, Jamie, shortly after that. And I was able to process verbally with her, and that's a huge thing with me. Like I know that I have friends that are internal processors. I'm a verbal processor. And so for me to be able to just express it was able for me to just like get it out of me, and I didn't feel alone. And I think that allowing ourselves to have people in our life that we can verbally process with and know that we're not alone in our hard days is so powerful. And so even if you're an internal processor, I'm going to encourage you to think about who in your life is willing to just pray for you or send you high vibes and allow them to support you, whether they're with you or not. When people are thinking about you, when they're holding space for you, there's so much power in that energetically. Okay. And just knowing that my husband texted me, he's like, hey, how'd today go? Right. Like I know he cares. And so just knowing that I had this beautiful support system, and I had plenty of people that I could have reached out to if I needed to, but I felt very satisfied with just my simple conversation with Jamie, getting my text message from my husband, and just knowing that I'm held if I need it. Right. The next thing that helped me in this place was just giving myself that permission. So once I processed some things both in my body and verbally, then I was able to just decide, where do I want the rest of the today to go, right? And I think that this is where too many of us jump here too fast, or we stay in the muck for way too long. So this is really where I think that this is a good example of a way to get through this stuff, right? And so I said to Jamie, like, okay, awesome. Thank you so much for helping me process that. Now I really want to focus on today, right? Like we had coaching calls today. We had all kinds of cool things that we have going on. And I'm like, all right, so can we switch? Can we shift this conversation? And I was able to get into action. And I think that, again, when we are having a bad day, it's really easy for us to possibly stay in this place of wallowing and feeling sorry for ourselves and giving ourselves permission to just sit and watch TV all day or to be sad. And I'm not telling you guys that we don't have permission to feel things, but what I'm telling you is that we can feel them, honor them, shift them faster if we don't energize them and if we allow them to process through our bodies. All right. So now it's just this moment in time where I was able to say, this is my decision that I am ready to shift my energy into, what do we get to work on today? Right. And I got to show up in my highest energy in that space. And so don't get sucked into thinking that there's something wrong with you if you can't shift this right away. Don't slap on a bunch of, well, you should be thinking this way, so get over it. And don't sit in your space and energize it more and more and more by thinking about all the reasons why. Those are my big takeaways from today. And I'm good, right? I'm good. I'm looking forward to, getting a really great clean biopsy result come back. I'm really excited to go downstairs. My son just got home from school, so I'm excited to go down and spend some time with him and tell him how proud I am that he did all those things today, and to focus on what I can control, but also honoring that if I have waves that come back where something triggers me and um, it makes me go down a path in my mind, I get to stop. I get to honor it. I get to observe it. I get to say, okay, what am my emotion? What emotion am I having right now? And what does that feel like, and allow it to move through my body? It also is a great opportunity for me to think about, like, well, what are some other root, like, things that I might get to invite an exploration around, and use this as an opportunity instead of a setback or a bad thing that happens. And I think that as I wrap up this conversation, I'm going to say thank you. I'm going to say thank you to God. I'm going to say thank you to the universal laws that led to this moment, because I think that one disservice that we give ourselves is the ignorance that we're going to die. I think that when we recognize the gift of finality, and we recognize that we don't have an unlimited number of days, and that we get to use what we have to make the biggest difference. And I was able to give myself this interflexion, I guess, of, am I proud of the way I've spent my days? Am I happy with the choices that I've made and where I've chosen to focus my time and attention? And is this an opportunity for a shift in any way? And allowing that to be an opportunity to reflect and to be proactive and design my life instead of allowing it to be led by default. So I think that so many people can get sucked into the ignorance and the the illusion, right, that we have all the time in the world, and that so many times I've used the phrase that fine is my least favorite 4-letter F word because I think that we can skate through life with everything being fine, that we can be okay with an okay job and an okay marriage and an okay body and an okay purpose and fulfillment. Like it's fine. And then all of a sudden it's too late and we're like, shit. Right. And that's what this whole, movie was about. This woman didn't love her job. She always allowed other people's opinions to matter before hers. And she started saying yes to things that she wished she would have said a long time ago, and things that she wished she had done, she started doing. And why do we have to wait for the reality of death to shock us into living, right? I feel like I live a full life. I do live a full life. And I say that to myself a lot as I travel, to Bali recently and I just get to do cool things. I'm so grateful for it. And I'm like, okay, like I live a full life. I'm happy. I'm happy with the way I live. My kids know how unbelievably proud I am. And we spend one-on-one time together every single day. And when I travel, and I get to travel, I'm living life to the fullest. And when I'm home, I am home. I am embodied with my family. I'm present, and I'm happy. I'm proud of the choices that I've made. And I want to encourage all of you guys to ask yourself that. Am I living a fine life? Are there things that I get to use this moment as my wake up call to harness? Are there changes I need to make? Do I need to start taking the risks that I've been too scared to take? Do I need to think about switching jobs? Do I need to finally, let down some of these walls? What is it for you? And if anything comes out of this, I want this to be a gift for you in some way. So hopefully there was something in today's episode that resonates with you. To make some meaning out of my funk that I was in today. And rightfully so, right? Like it's a scary thing. Melanoma is not something to mess with. And so there's my public service announcement, like get your skin checked, wear your sunscreen, right? But just know, friends, that I'm your friend. Like I'm just like you. Like I have good days and I have bad days. And the difference perhaps is just that I've gotten some really cool tools along the way and that I have gotten to use. And maybe I'm just maybe a step or two ahead where I can teach you those tools and make your journey a little bit easier. Okay. So thank you for sitting here with me today and sharing this vulnerable space and allowing me to be real and authentic and allowing me to be my favorite version of myself, right? Which is just real. And yeah, my energy might be a little different, but it's all me. And I get to be all of that. And today, this is my day. So, all right, you guys, I will see you next week for another episode of the Spiral Up podcast. I can't wait to share amazing interview, somebody that's bound to inspire you, and just continue to spiral up, friends, and know that I'm here. Reach out to me. Tell me what this episode did for you. I would really love to know that. Like I would love to have a conversation and relationships with you guys. All right. So, all right. Bye everybody.
So much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Each honest review helps me spiral up so that I can serve you even better. Whether you're feeling a lack of impact, income, or time freedom, or perhaps you're just ready for massive momentum in your business, let's chat. Apply for a breakthrough call so that you can gain clarity, identify what's holding you back, and make a plan to spiral up. Head on over to iam-lifebydesign.com/breakthrough or access the link in the show notes. For immediate support, log into our community, the Better Club. We focus on inspiration, tactical guidance, and support. This is a community that wants to be better, do better, and have better in life and in business, and we're going to help you do the same. Let's spiral up, friends.